Hey everyone, Dave Burgard here, one of the organizers for the Teton Ridge Classic for 2024. Wanted to do a quick race preview for 16, 8, and 4 kilometer loops, and also just give a quick shout out to all of the sponsors so that we don't have to do it race morning. Um, just a few notes. One, gosh, we feel super lucky here in Victor, Idaho. Probably one of the only, one of a handful of Nordic centers in the entire country that has snow and has classic tracks. Pretty rare right now, and very important when you're putting on a classic race. So there you go. Um, also, thanks to Dan and Melissa Struble. If you've ever done this race before, they put it on for the last 20 years and are still involved this year in helping make it happen. So thanks to them. Teton Valley Trails and Pathways, an amazing nonprofit that helps groom, 7, 8, 9 Nordic centers, all free of charge. All the race proceeds are going to them. Locals, please buy your passes. Please support them. Yeah, great organization. The Nordic Alliance, they help unify cross-country skiing across both valleys, Teton Valley and Teton County, Wyoming. They've also helped fund the Nordic Pulse app, so you can see grooming in real time. Great app, download it if you don't have it. The U.S. Forest Service, these trails are taking place on Forest Service land. They've been instrumental in helping us permit this race. They also helped build these trails back in 2017, 2018. They helped lay the course out. And fun fact, probably one of the only courses that was put in by a logging road team that like builds logging roads in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, but that's why they're perfectly graded, and you'll see they're great. Teton County, Idaho, one of the permitting authorities. Huge help. Thank you. City of Victor, the greatest city of all times, where I live, and they maintain the bike path, and so huge thanks to them for letting us race on that. And then lastly, Moose Creek Ranch. Gosh, when this race first started, what made it special in those early years was it took place on ranch land in Tetonia, and it was just a really great vibe where after the race everyone could hang out, talk all things Nordic, and really great place to build community, get to know each other. I think we kind of lost some of that specialness when we went to a new venue. So really idea behind this year is to try to recreate some of that. The race will be finishing at Moose Creek Ranch in subsequent years. We hope to be able to start there as well. I think they might have 1 or 2 rooms left. If you stay there, you'll be able to ski to the start, and if you do the 16K, you'll end at your door. So huge kudos to them. Okay, let's jump in to the course previews here. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's we're gonna go over the 16K to start. We're gonna talk about some of the specific features on the 16K, so it's still relevant probably for the 8Kers. And a few things to point out to start. So this whole area here, it's called the Mike Harris Trail System, or some people refer to it as the Southern Valley Trail System. It kind of depends on what season. Mike Harris in the summer, Southern Valley in the winter. But right off the highway here, just south of Victor, we'll put out a more detailed map in subsequent emails. But a few things to note. First, there is a little parking lot here in Mike Harris. I only point that out because you are not allowed to park there. That it only holds about 24 cars. Part of our permitting with the Forest Service is we promised we would not put racers in there. And in fact, we're going to have a parking lot attendant turning racers away. You're going to have to actually park here at the finish, Moose Creek Ranch. We have plenty of parking. You want to be there anyway. This is where you're going to pick up your bib. It's an easy 1 to 1.5 kilometer little ski here to the start line. So For you 16Kers, we'll have a shuttle, so when you for your gear. So if you have warm-ups or extra ski bags, you can put them in there. We'll just transport them and have them for you at the finish. The 8Kers, you're going to start and finish at the at Mike Harris here. So your warm-ups will be there when you finish. Okay, so a few things to just orient us. The race starts at about 6,500 feet. And to start, there's a nice long kind of stretch through here. Nice clean start. We do this loop that's called the campground loop. We'll ski all the way out to the point, and then there's a sharp left hand. It'll all be marked very well. You'll come back through the start and then head out on what's called the power line trail. You'll take the power line trail, and then that cuts into a trail system called Yeti Loop. The Yeti Loop is awesome. It's like partly what inspired this race. It's perfect grade for striding. This whole entire loop should be you should be able to stride the whole thing. There might be one little spot going up like what's called the bullhorn, where it might be 2 or 3 herringbone uh, techniques, but for the most part, it's all stridable. You're going to come up to the very top. We peak out at about 6,800 feet, so about 300 feet of elevation gain through that whole process. And then that starts a really fun series of kind of downhills and working downhill sections. The first one right here, it's called S2. S because it's like S turns, and 2 because there's 2 turns. So this is kind of what it looks like. A little video here, and there we go. Oh, see here. Cool. So 1 turn, 2 turns, that you can step around both. But we'll put a little caution sign at the very, very top, just so that it's there. But I only point these turns out just so that you're aware. The course will be open the day before. You can go preview them. And yeah, they're fun. Okay, so after S2, some more working downhill sections. There's a really fun little kind of big sweeping turn called Big Bendy, and then some little punchy uphills, and then that leads into this little section called S4. S again because their S turns 4 because there are 4 of them. And we'll have someone here at the bottom probably just make sure everyone gets through safely, and if they need to, they can kind of just shovel some snow in case it gets a little icy or there's some big plow berms. My 6-year-old does this no problem. My 75-year-old friend makes it through no problem. But it's good to know that they're there. So again, we'll put a little caution sign at the top. You can see they kind of get progressively tighter, and also you have more speed as you kind of work through them. So I think this is turn 3 right there. And then this is the last turn, a big kind of sweeper to the right. And then just a long kind of just fun, kind of flowy, fast downhill that then takes you to a big sweeper left. Oops. Okay. So at the end of that, we kind of come all the way back down towards the base. You're going to go back out again, do the campground loop a second time, only this time instead of making a left, you're going to go right. And I said we'll have this signed really well. And this is a little section here called the Happy Hour Trail. And last year I got to go ski the Berkey. And the day before we went out and skied a lot of their local trails, and they had a bunch of just single track through the woods, just classic. And it was really fun. And so partly that's what's inspired a lot of this race. Was this little section right here. It's about 2 kilometers long. It's all single track. Some of it's a little bit tight, but we spent a lot of time this fall trying to prune it back and make it wide enough. Yeah, it will be memorable for sure, and pretty unique. I've been joking that it's Bill Koch inspired also. Like I feel like Bill would like this. Okay, so you'll exit that section. We'll go across a little like a bridge, and then we'll come underneath a little highway underpass, and then we get onto this section that had never really been groomed before. It's a fairly new bike path the last year or two. And again, perfect grade for classic skiing. I've been skiing it a ton this winter. It's really fun. Even though the course profile is a lot of downhill, uh, you'll be tired, and it's there's a lot more uphills there than you think. But we'll come down one last big downhill, and kind of goes by the highway, and then we'll make a right across this private land section. We have an individual that was really gracious and letting us come across his land to finish there, and then finish right within you know a stone's throw of the ranch there. So that is the 16K. I'm calling this the A loop. As of right now, we think we have enough snow to get across the private land section here. Some of this other little sections here. Um, you know, uh, so if the race was today, we feel good about it. If we start to lose a lot of snow, Plan B will be to do the entire course, but we'll probably finish right around here and just not do the private land. Plan C, which I don't think we'll have to do, but in case, it's just going to be skiing the 8 kilometer loop 2 times. Um, Again, I don't think that we'll have to do that, but if we do, the 8K is awesome. It's a really, really good loop. So let me preview what that looks like for folks. Um, Basically, it's the same thing. We'll start off, we'll do the campground loop, we'll come back, we'll do the climb, we'll ski Yetis, we'll ski S2, the Big Bendy, S4, and then we'll come all the way in, and then instead of going back out, you'll just come to the finish. And that'll be one lap of the 8K course. The 4K loop, not surprisingly, is about half the 8K loop. So again, we'll come out, we'll do the campground loop, and then you'll start going up power line. We'll make an immediate left instead of going all the way up Yetis. You'll kind of do what this is called the cutoff trail, and then come in, and that's just a little bit, over 4K, closer a little bit 4.5, 5K. All right, well, hope to see you all. It's going to be fun. It's going to be memorable, that's for sure. And yeah, thanks for everyone who has raced in the past and who is planning to race into the future. Yeah, we look forward to hosting you all. All right, thanks.